Hello everybody, I'm Rhinociart, and today I want to talk about a tragedy. It snowed. I was not prepared. I'm never prepared. I mentioned this before, but we used to get winter in like October, like late October, early November. It's not really a thing anymore. Now we get snow in like February, maybe. So, I was not ready. The whole city wasn't ready. Also, I wanted to talk about this look. Let me just take this off. Hair poof. Also this, the growing out.
What are those?
I need a haircut so bad, my dudes. I especially like these little sideburns. I think they're very flattering. If I grow them out enough, maybe I can have a whole beard. Just here and I'll spear come into my face. Anyway, since I'm still having a little bit of a crisis about the fact that it's now winter, even though it's not really winter and melted, it's fine. Point is, everybody's getting out of Halloween mode and into Christmas mode, and like, I'm not totally adjusted to that. I thought that instead of going straight into the swing of things with the wintry themed whatevers, I was still gonna kind of play around with the spoopy stuff, Don't Starve Together style. Kind of ironic that like I'm drawing characters in a scene that are more spoopy than like the October video that I did for Halloween. Who keeps on a thematic schedule? Not me! So for those of you unfamiliar, Don't Starve Together is a multiplayer spin-off of Don't Starve, which is a resource management sort of survival game, which normally aren't my thing, but this one, there's something about it that's really interesting, especially playing multiplayer. I've done the solo one for a couple times. It just didn't quite grab me in the same way, but being able to play couch multiplayer with my partner or playing with other friends like across the internet is a lot of fun. The times that I've played with people who are new to the game are especially entertaining because they tend to just run off and start putting everything in their mouth and start picking up everything and fighting everything, and you trying to corral them or be like, wait, no, don't do that, is a little bit like trying to herd kittens. So it's been really funny trying to play with other people. And as two textbook earth signs who just like really organized, straightforward, planned out shit, B and I are having a great time with this resource management nonsense. Build your base, get all the items, build all the things, protect yourself from the enemies is wonderful. The game that just B and I have been playing has involved these two characters that I'm drawing today, which are Wendy, who's got like a ghost sister, Abigail, and then, oh god, I always forget his name, Willie, they all start with W and I keep getting it mixed up. I've honestly been calling this guy Angus because he has an Angus McDonald skin, and that's what I've used most of the time. Walter, that's his name. Anyway, so Walter also has this little dog companion who turns into a big dog companion named Wobie, and I'm feelings about her. You can't just give someone a puppy in a game and not expect them to love her. So the characters obviously have all unique personalities and attributes in the games, and I get a special kick out of their voices because they're all making horn sounds, but different horn sounds, so they sound like voices. And Walter's is especially funny because he sounds like an annoying little boy. Because both of our characters are kids, and because we've been on our own just building this fort together, I thought it would be kind of fun to draw them together as these two kids that are just kind of manning the fort. They're having a great time. Everything's spooky around them, but like they're in a great place. So anyway, here we are. I started with a sketch as per usual, did a really rough thumbnail kind of thing to get an idea of what I wanted to do. I also actually did like a pen thumbnail on a piece of scrap paper at work, so that happened. And then I did a secondary sketch in this second green that's a little more detailed, just kind of gave me more of an idea of what I was looking at, because all the lines on the first sketch layer were getting kind of confusing. This is where I really enjoy doing digital art, because with pencil you can't really do this. You kind of got to keep erasing lines and keep things fairly neat so you can see what's happening, because otherwise you're going to have just pencil smudging everywhere and a hard time inking the thing. Honestly, the more I do digital art, the more I'm like, this is why people who do digital art are like, how does traditional art even work? I don't know. I did my line art initially how I normally do, which is with the ink pen tool in like a purpley red sort of color, but I quickly realized that it was far too smooth for the art style. So instead of re-inking the entire thing, what I did is then switch my ink pen to the lowest possible stabilization and then purposely went over all my lines with no attention, just as scribbly as possible, which I hoped would kind of make the art style seem a little more familiar. I thought about making these characters look more like how I would draw them as just people, but there's something very unique about the Don't Starve style, and so I didn't really want to upset that. I feel like if I go too far away from that, it wouldn't look like the characters anymore. That's why they've still got those creepy giant white eyes. I noticed when I started coloring Wendy that like her skin is basically just white, so I changed the background to this reddish orange color just so I could see what I was doing and where the color was going outside the lines. Though admittedly, this round I wasn't being too particular about where the color was seeping out. I figured if it bled across the lines a little bit, it's whatever, it works with the style, it's fine. Mostly I was just working from the eyedropper tool, but I found that Walter's, I almost called him Wilbur. I found that Walter's skin was coming off a little bit too ashy, so I did bump that into a little bit of a warmer threshold. And then as far as the lighting went, as per usual, I've got a couple of overlay layers in a purple. I've got kind of a purpley blue doing the shade. And then for the lighting, I wanted to make it look like there was a fire set behind the camera. And then also the little crock pot in the back would also have heat coming off of it. I put in the little honey nuggets because those are Walter's favorite. So that's what the food in there is supposed to be. It's just, I know it looks like chicken nuggets or something, but you know, a similar vibe. And I guess the one other thing that I did with this drawing that I don't normally do is that I left their white eyes without any of the filters over top, so that eyeball layer is basically on top of everything. I thought it would be kind of interesting and a little spooky if their eyes shone through, no matter what the atmosphere was like. Gives it the kind of like creepy Halloween vibe. And this is what I mean, this is way creepier, this is more spooky than the actual Halloween video I did. Whoops! Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you'd like this, as per usual, please let me know with a like or a comment or something to that effect. It's very helpful. And if you'd like to hang out and see more of this kind of stuff in the future, feel free to stubby scrooby, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye! I wanted to talk about a tragedy, because it's us. But first, so I decided instead what I was gonna do. So since B and I have been playing a lot of Let's Starve. Let's Starve together! Beep beep. I decided instead I was going to get mad at the buses. Because they keep coming by and making noise. You're coming to my city.